These are my side cutters. They're the Good Smile Racing side cutters by Takumi Tools. They're my go-to weapon of choice for building plastic model kits. They've served me well. Unfortunately, these have worn down and it's time to replace them. But the truth is, these actually weren't that great in the first place to begin with, and the only reason I bought them was because they said Good Smile Racing right on the blade, and I'm just a sucker for those sort of details. So, in reality, I was actually looking forward to the day that I had to get a new pair. And since I'm here, I thought I'd use this opportunity to share with you guys my evaluations of the two replacement side cutters that I've lined up. First up are the Tamiya Sharps. I've used these before and I like them quite a bit. They're a pretty good pair of side cutters that don't break the bank. The other set of side cutters are the Gundam Planet single-edged nippers. I've never used these before, but I have been assured that they're pretty good too. I've set up a small test to evaluate which one is better. On the left side here we have the Gundam Planet, and on the right side we have the Tamiya. In the middle I have two pieces from a spare runner that I have that I've just cut off the sides, and this will just be the test piece of plastic that I'm going to cut. I'm going to perform 2 cuts with each of the blades, and basically I'm going to do one that's fast where I just come in and just snip it, and then I'm going to do one where it's a bit slower and I just go as slow as I can and make a smooth, clean cut. Whichever one leaves behind the least amount of stress marks or the least amount of whiteness, I guess that'll be the better one. So let's just get started. And I think first we'll go with the Tamiyas. Alright, so the Tamiya with the fast cut. Here we go. We'll just leave this to the side. And then we'll do the Gundam Planet one next. And then we'll compare the two. Alright, so both cuts have been applied. Remember, right side is Tamiya, this is the Gundam Planet. And at first glance, it looks like there is a smaller window of white on the Tamiya, but it's a bit more harsh, I would say. It's a very much more white concentration right in the center, whereas on the Gundam Planet ones, it's a bit more opaque, so it never gets to be as white, but it's a bit more surface area that's in white. And I think the result of that is because there's a bit more pinching going on here, whereas this provides a smoother surface. So if I were to turn it up this way, this one is just a bit more flat, the Gundam Planet ones, where the Tamiya has a bit of roughness to it, and you can somewhat feel it. So it's a bit here and there. They're both not going to be perfect, but I think for fast cutting, you'll probably have less sanding to do with this one. Either way, though, you're still going to end up with some whiteness, no matter which way you go. Let's move on to the slow cut. Alright, so this is the Tamiya's slow cut. Here we go. Hopefully, it's not too bad to watch. Try and go as slow as I can, applying even pressure, and it should just slide through. Alright. Looks like initial results are kind of the same still. Alright, next up are the Gundam Planets with the slow cut. Here we go. Let's check that out. Alright, so once again, Tamiya here on the right, Gundam Planet on the left. This is the result of the slow cut, and interestingly, the amount of whiteness that's here is about the same as the fast cut, but I think it's easier to tell that the Gundam Planet provides a smoother surface when you're done with it, whereas the Tamiyas still leave this kind of awful little gouge right in the center, and I think that's all down to do with the fact that the Gundam Planets, these are single-edged, so that's why you get a smoother surface, and even though this shows up with still a bit more white, in terms of total area, it's not as harsh. It's not like right there in the center where it has that little divot of whiteness and stress. It's a tough call because I did use red plastic to make sure that the whiteness marks always show up. Red plastic is known for its horrible, or just it's tough to work with because of this. But I think just by these results alone, I would probably edge it out here to the Gundam Planet ones, just because these are going to leave you with a smoother surface, and I imagine on plastics that don't react too harshly to stress marks, you're just going to end up
with something a little bit better, especially knowing that you won't have to worry about this gouge. I'm a little surprised. These are my go-tos, these Tamiyas, but what do you know? The Gundam planets are definitely the one that I would recommend.
So there you have it, between the Tamiya Sharps and the Gundam Planet Nippers. I'm gonna go with the Gundam Planets, and that's just solely because they provide that smooth cut that I enjoy. The Tamiyas are still great, it's just that after seeing that they leave behind that center gouge, when it comes down to it, I would rather work with a smooth edge versus an edge that has a gouge right down the middle of it. So it's a pretty simple decision for me, so these will give me my new go-tos. The only thing is they do say Gundam Planet right on the blade, and every time I use them, I'm gonna feel like a bit of a shill for doing so. But I guess that's okay. And speaking of being a shill, if you want your own set of Gundam Planet Nippers, you can find a link to buy them in the description down below. And before I go, shoutouts to my friend Russ over at Gundam Planet for sending these over. He said they were good. I kind of was skeptical, but well, I'm a believer. So thanks, Russ. And to everybody else, I hope this video was useful, if not entertaining, and I'll see you guys in the next review.